Happy Thanksgiving week as the Horse with No Name podcast returns after a 10-day hiatus. My name is Zach Freeman, joined as always by Tyler Greenlee. And thanks to Mother Nature's ice and snow last Thursday, we had to postpone last week's show. I didn't even come to work. Tyler, did you come to school?
Of course I came to school.
Oh.
I'm a good student.
Okay.
I'm not lazy.
Better than my employeeism, if that's a word, I guess. Okay. Anyway, it turned out to be a good thing, however, as our guest today is Tommy Croke of the LBC men's soccer team. And I found out on Sunday morning that they earned the final at-large bid to the NCCAA Division I National Tournament in Kissimmee, Florida. And they'll head south after Thanksgiving to the tournament that will begin next Monday, the 26th. So we'll get to our guest, Tommy, in just a moment, but wanted to take a moment and let our listeners know that we are officially on iTunes and Spotify now. So if you can't listen live on the Chargers Sports Network, you can download the podcast on iTunes and Spotify and listen in the car or the gym or wherever you need to listen to podcasts to.
We do sign autographs. So if you see us around,
we can do that.
We can sign some. So.
That's exactly right. And even better, if you're on iTunes, you can give us a review and help us to gain a little bit better following, and you can subscribe there and listen to all things LBC Athletics on the podcast. Quick recap before we get to Tommy of the past 10 days. The women's basketball team is 2-3 after 2 losses at the Hampton Inn Tip-Off Classic in Messiah this past weekend. They lost to St. Vincent and Wesley. In the 2 wins this season, they've had contributions from kind of everyone up and down the lineup. But in the losses, it seems as though different parts of the team have kind of gone cold. So I think as the season goes on, Tyler, you can speak to this a little as you've seen them play twice as well. The more consistent they are, I think the more wins and the stronger play we're going to see from the women's basketball team.
Oh, I agree for sure. Just I think that's true for a lot of teams. Just if you get that consistent rhythm that you're going to start playing, and you're going to start playing better overall in general. So yeah.
I think the same can be said for the men's basketball team, who's 1-2 this season after back-to-back losses at the Salisbury Optimist International Tournament in Salisbury, Maryland this past weekend. They lost to the host Seagulls on Friday night and then lost to DeSales on Saturday. They let that one kind of go against DeSales on Saturday. I think head coach Andrew Wingreen would tell you the same on Saturday afternoon there, as they led midway through the second half and kind of just could not buy a bucket the last 10 minutes or so of that game. Obviously, 3 games in the season, still early, but I think anyone who would watch them or has watched them would tell you that the consistency needs to just get a little bit better, as we just talked about with the women's team. But nevertheless, a big win over Messiah last Tuesday here at Horse Athletic Center. A game I thought where the whole team played really well. Lots of members of the team getting time on the floor and can give their minutes. I'll use that, their minutes, THEIR. Everyone has a role on the men's basketball team. I think more so than in years past. I'll channel my inner Rick Pitino, but CJ Dunson's not walking through that door. Bryce Williams is walking through,
right.
Even Herbie Brown's not walking through that door. Right. I think the past couple of years we've gotten so accustomed to, oh, well, he's the best player. Oh, well, he's the best player. He'll just save us. I think there are 11 guys who need to play well in their specific role for this year's men's basketball team to be as successful, which I think it can be, as those teams from the past couple of years.
Yeah, and I even noticed that against Messiah. I was talking to JJ up here when we were producing the game. I was like, dang, they really rotate a lot of guys in, and I think that speaks to what we talked about with Coach Andrew 2 weeks ago now, I guess it was.
Yep.
About how he wants to be a defensive identity team. And I think to do that, you need to have those guys that can come off the bench and provide that energy for you. So,
and I think it's great if we can have someone score 20, 30 points. I know we've got guys on the team who can get hot from beyond the arc, and that may happen. But I think most of the time we're going to look at the box score and say, that person had 14. Perfect. That's their lane. That person had 10. Perfect. That's their lane. That person had 2 points but 9 rebounds. Perfect. Right. That's your lane. Like, I just think that's something that if we start seeing that, you're going to start seeing a W in front of the game, because I think they're going to win more games that way. So, and again, I think Andrew would tell you that. I think 3 games in the season, you don't need to hit the panic button yet. And they have a test against Wesley tomorrow night down in Dover, and I'll be interested to see how that game goes heading into the break, because then it takes you, we talked about this with Andrew over a Christmas break, where you have to just stare at your record for 2 or 3 weeks where you don't play. And it's a pain because you can't fix it. And so even the 8 days they don't play over Thanksgiving, if they would lose tomorrow night, it wouldn't be a huge deal, but it's a pain to have to look at 1 and 3.
You definitely want to get that back up to around 500.
Right, and know that you could be 2 and 2 or 3 and 1. And it just eats at you. And so when they come back, they'll start NEAC play, Penn State Berks on the 28th. We'll talk about that at the end as we look at the upcoming schedule. And then home games all in December. 4 home games in December before Christmas, 2 of them conference games. I think that's a much bigger stretch than what they just went through here playing down in Salisbury. It's good to play those teams at Salisbury. Those are good teams, and hopefully we're playing at the beginning of March, and those are the teams we'll see, and we can talk about these past 2 games. But for right now, I think they know what needs to happen. So, off the basketball floor, back to men's soccer. Again, they earned the aforementioned final at-large bid to the NCCAA Division I National Tournament. It'll be held again in Kissimmee, Florida, after Thanksgiving. The Chargers will play Monday and Tuesday, the 26th and 27th. There's 3 pools of 3 teams. The top team out of each pool comes into the semifinals, and there's a bunch of tiebreakers they put together to get that 4th team for the semifinals. Semifinals will be Friday the 30th, with the final being on Saturday, December 1st. The Chargers will play number 1 Southwestern Christian and number 6 Judson in pool play. And there'll be a big preview article coming out tomorrow morning previewing the tournament, or at least the first 2 games with Southwestern Christian, who's from Oklahoma, and Judson from Illinois. And again, you can check that on lbcchargers.com tomorrow. And that leads us to this week's guest, men's soccer and baseball player. But we're going to focus on soccer, I think. Tommy Croke joins us this week here on the podcast. Tommy, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's go back. We're going to go back in time a little bit, not too far.
All right.
November 4th, NEAC final. Good game, but we lose to Penn State Abington in the NEAC final. What's the process? And we know that the NCCAA option is there,
Right.
but all of our eggs are in the NEAC basket. And if we win that, we go to the NCAA tournament, and who knows? What's the bus ride home like on November 4th, knowing that the NEAC is over, the NCAA dream is over, and now we have to turn around and practice Monday or Tuesday, preparing for a Grace College team that, probably half the guys couldn't find on a map.
Right. Yeah. So the ride back, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but directly after the game was when it got super emotional. We all kind of realized, like, oh, that's it. Like, that was our main goal, obviously, the NEAC championship, and that's what our main goal was, to win. And after the game, everyone was just super upset, and there were a lot of tears, a lot of just emotions. And I know our seniors, they thought, oh, this is it. Like, Tito, Tony, JJ, they all thought that was their, careers coming to an end there. So with that, like, a lot of tears were shed, a lot of emotions. We got back in the locker room, it was super quiet. But then, in the bus, it's an hour and a half ride back. Like, we had to not get over it, because obviously we're still sad, but, our goal, we're still brothers, pro de Alice, for God and for each other. So after the game, we're still for each other, regardless win or lose. So I think that's what we all sort of focused on and saw, throughout losing.
Perfect. And then that's put to the test a week later, 6 days later, even more so probably, so now you have a week of practice, which I recall Coach Art saying was pretty good considering what had happened in the NEAC final.
Real hard.
You're playing one of the top teams in the NCCAA Division I. It's Grace. They've been ranked in the top 3 all season long. We're winning 2-1. We're watching it here. We had a women's basketball game. We're trying to watch it. Your game had started at 11. Basketball was here at 1. So we're like, come on, clock, hurry up. Hurry up. We have to watch the final couple minutes while we're starting basketball. It's 2-1 us. Also, it's 2-2. Oh, okay, that's all right. We'll get them in overtime.
Yep.
And we blink. And it's 3-2, and all of a sudden it says 0-0-0 on the clock, and it says final. Take me, and that's not an hour and a half home.
No, that was a trek.
Talk to me about that process, because I imagine you give yourself more time, and now you probably think this is the last time I'm putting the cleats on this year. Yeah, and especially for the seniors.
Yeah, for sure. And I know. You could look back. My freshman year, we went out to Grace College and we got thwopped. We got beat 7-1.
Right.
And just for me on the sidelines of the game, this past game that we lost, 3-2, it was just cool to see how different the team is now.
Sure.
How much more of a brotherhood there is, and the fight that we gave. So for me, like, I was just so proud of our guys, and I was so proud of the performance that we showed. And I think we proved a lot to ourselves and also to Grace, them looking back too, seeing, we beat this team 7-1 and we really fought for it. And I think that's what made it hurt the most was like, we battled so hard the entire game. We fought for it, and just the last couple minutes, there were a few breakdowns, a few calls, missed calls, whatever you want to call it. And that's kind of what got it. It was like, man, like we were right there. We really proved ourselves, and we just didn't get the result. But again, we had to look at it and be like, well, there's a reason for it. Win or lose, like we really came together this season and in this game and put together a good game and a good match.
And so that happens. As last week kind of goes on, I don't know how much Coach Art kept you guys informed, but I start getting emails across my desk like, okay, if these 3 things happen, there's a way to the at-large bid. Yeah. Okay, now it's if these 4 things happen, there's a way. And sure enough, we start checking off the boxes, and we go into Saturday evening, and if these 2 teams win, I really can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, if these 2 teams win, you're right. Yeah. And again, teams that we don't normally think about. All of a sudden, we have a major rooting interest. I'm sure Kansas Wesleyan appreciates the views on the website they had the other night from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But all of a sudden, all those things happen, and kind of, hey, we're kind of expecting maybe even a little to get that at-large bid. And sure enough, Sunday morning, how did you get the news that you guys had made it?
We had no. Coach told us. I think it was 3 games. There was 2 teams that had to win, 3 teams that had to win, and 2 of them were the high seeds. So they were expected to. One team was a low seed, and we were like, all right, that's the one game that we really got to pay attention to. And that was the last game of the night. Right. So we watched the first 2. We saw 2 wins. It's going our way. And then we actually had to buy the 7:30 game. It was $10, but we all crowded around the TV, and we were pulling. I think it was Mackey that we needed to win that game, and we were cheering that whole game. They're scoring. We're yelling, "Get back on defense!" Because we knew exactly what needed to happen. We knew it needed to happen, to get us down to Florida. So we're all on the edge of our seats the whole time.
That's great.
Our Tony Game and our senior, he couldn't even watch it. He was just sick. He was like, "This is literally my career on the line." So. It was cool that we were all able to, we knew the result we needed. So once we saw the win go our way, we were like, we're going to Florida.
I like that Mid-American sweatshirt you have on right now, too. No, I'm just kidding. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Tyler,
repping his favorite team, I guess.
That's right. Big Mid-American fans. That's right. That's right.
I have a couple more, non-soccer related, so if you have any
okay, I'll keep going
on
with
the
a little
same
soccer.
track, maybe.
Sure, I'll go a little on soccer. So,
yeah.
We play next Monday, the 26th. You guys are going to practice a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, and Wednesday.
We'll be back. We're not practicing tomorrow. We'll be back on
Saturday.
We'll have a Saturday morning
and then leave.
And then we'll head out,
So some practices till then, but we won't have played for nearly 3 weeks when we play Monday night. Is that good? Is that bad? It doesn't matter. We're just ready to go.
I definitely think it's good for all the guys who play big minutes in the season. Like, it's good to get their bodies a rest.
Yep.
I think everyone's maintaining their fitness fine. And I think just mentality, that's what's going to make or break the situations. Is, having the winning mentality going in and not thinking about, we haven't played in 2 weeks. In the past 2 games, we've lost. So, not having that mentality going in, but, we got nothing to lose,
Because it almost feels like you're starting over. Like, this is a longer break than even
preseason.
Right. This is longer than preseason half the time, too. So, since you've been practicing, what have you been working on? Is it just the fitness piece? Is it, or it's probably not a direct, when you go play Abington, hey, we need to work on this because they're good at this. We've never played Southwestern Christian, and, maybe Tommy or we'll watch a little film and things like that. But it'll be mostly how do we fix or improve us more than how do we prep for the other team.
We'll do a lot of technical stuff. And then last week, we did a lot of 5v5s, 8v8s, and just went hard. Just, a little competition throughout with each other and just going hard and keeping the fitness up and keeping the mentality high.
And again, it's probably early, and you said you guys are going to meet later today and probably start talking now that it's official about going down there. But even as someone who's on the team and obviously has relationships with all the guys, obviously we're gonna we're not going down there. We would like to get third, right. But what are the goals here? So now we're here and we're going to play really good teams, scholarship schools. Is it just a wait-and-see approach? Is it, hey, we're the underdog, let's go get them? Or what's the approach? What are the goals? What's the approach?
Well, I know for me and what we've talked about with the guys is, we're playing the 1 seed, we're playing the 6 seed. So, the top seed comes out of each, group or whatever. So we're hoping, I mean, if we get one win, it'll make it interesting. So if we, if we split our first 2 games, then, the Wednesday game between the other 2 teams will decide our fate even. I mean, obviously we're going for 2 wins, but, a split could do well. And so we're just going down trying to play hard and trying to get at least 1 win out of it, score some goals.
Yeah, you won't have to deal with the cold weather down there either. That'll be helpful to you.
It should be nice, and that would be different. It's the first time we've played in warmer weather, probably since September or early October. So
you say hi to my cousin down there and kissing me too. So
tell him to come by.
Yeah, it's actually a girl. But
tell her to come by.
There you go. All right. But she's like 40, so
good.
This was fun. Have you ever been to Florida, Simon?
I have, yeah. I've been to a few different parts in Florida.
Okay,
I've been to Orlando before.
Are you guys going down early and kind of hanging out, or are you going down?
We're leaving Saturday. We're going to get there, I'm assuming, Sunday evening at some point because it's like 14 hours by car.
I think it's going to be around 18-ish, so I'm not sure what time you're leaving Saturday. But
yeah, we're leaving like pretty early. We're stopping halfway, I think. So I think we're going to get down there Sunday evening. We have like
There's a dinner. There's a dinner at 5.
Yeah. And then who knows? I mean, we play on Monday, so
okay.
I don't know how much. We'll have a lot of time probably Monday after our game or before our game. So
gotcha. Cool.
Hopefully we'll see some sights.
Well, I have some questions for you too if you're done. I'm not sure.
I'm done on the soccer track. Okay. I have a few more.
Well, we can go back and forth on this one.
Sure.
Then,
oh boy.
Okay, so this is more with the baseball side of things, I guess.
Right.
It is more with the baseball side
I have
of
a
things
baseball
because
question.
okay, we'll take it back here. We'll rewind a little bit.
All right.
Back to April 20th, something like that. We're playing the Barnstormers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
You get an inning. Were you a shortstop or second base?
Second base.
Second base.
I know what you're talking about.
You get all 3 outs. Take me through that inning. What went down?
Ooh.
What was going through your minds?
Well, initially I went out there and I was like, frick, don't make a fool of myself. Like,
right.
I've been playing in front of a bunch of people at a pretty big stadium. And then, a ball gets roped over to me. I jump up, make a little play.
Yeah.
And I was like, bet. Like, that's cool. Like, 1 out on a semi-professional team. I was like, that's cool. And then, sure enough, 2 pop flies. I was able to track them down, run on over.
2 pop flies were out of it.
Yeah, we were out of it. And, we're back into the dugout. And actually, as I was running back, I had plans. I had the ball in my hand. I had plans of throwing that into the bleachers. Like, I was like, bet. Like, I'm a pro out here. Like, I just made 3 outs. And then the umpire, sure enough, said, oh, no. And he made me give him the ball.
No way.
Yeah,
he took away your moment like that.
And I told Coach TJ, big players make big plays.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
That was great. I love
players make big plays.
I love that. That's good stuff. All right, go ahead with the baseball.
I'm curious. So we don't have very many dual sport athletes left here. I'm curious, and you don't need to pick a favorite. Okay, which parent is. But what's the difference between the baseball team and the soccer team? Baseball is it's way more games. But packed into about the same window, whereas soccer, especially this season, is way more marathon than baseball.
Right.
I mean, if we don't start playing baseball till spring break, you're talking about 35 games-ish in 6-7 weeks.
Right.
So it's very much day-to-day. There's practice is like a non-existent thing, whereas soccer, we're talking about working on little things and all this stuff.
Like
about the end. So
things for sure.
what is the difference, I guess, maybe on the field as well as off the field with the 2 teams?
Dynamics are obviously different just between the 2 breeds of athletes, if you want to say. They all get their different stereotypes. But I think for practice-wise, baseball there were some long days with games and stuff. Like we'd be going for hours, and it's hard to keep your mentality and your focus.
I'm aware.
I'm not gonna lie. I would sit there on the bench for I think 12 hours a day at times. That's what it felt like. But I think it's also it's hard to keep that high focus and high intensity throughout a baseball game where. Soccer, you're out there for an hour and a half, maybe more if there's overtime, whatever. But you're like, all right, it's an hour and a half. We have it. It's timed. It's not like inning by inning, and there's a lot less room for mistake almost in soccer. You give up 1 goal and you just see the time ticking away. I think that's pretty.
That's good. That's good stuff. Second question. Okay, this question came from Mike Van Diem.
Ooh.
He wanted to know. What are the worst odds that you've ever lost? Are you familiar with the odds game, Freeman?
No.
Ooh.
Okay, so do you want to explain the odds? You're probably better at explaining it than I am.
So shout out Mike, obviously. He's my boy.
Mike Van Diem.
But
What's up?
Odds. So what you do, you say what are the odds you do something, and you count, I would say 1 in 20. So we both would count down, and we both say a number. So say I say 5, you say 5. You have to do whatever it was that you just made the bet on.
Yeah, you kind of lost the bet. Right.
Got it.
So there was a day where me and Tony Gaiman on the soccer team, we were playing odds, and sure enough, I think he must have said, "What are the odds you bleach your hair?" I gave him 1 in 10, and sure enough, we said the same numbers, and I bleached my hair summer of freshman year.
Wow.
And that's going to be the worst odds that I've lost.
And I noticed now, too, that some of the guys are bleaching their hair for the trip. Are you planning on doing that?
No,
or
you won't
no?
catch me bleaching my hair. I did that once, and my hair didn't grow back for a few months. It was nice and strawy and blonde. And
thankful it's back now.
Blessed.
Blessed.
Brought the fro back.
I like it.
But it was.
And don't do that again. Don't bleach your hair again.
Yeah, my hair looked like a broom.
Oh, I didn't bleach my hair.
Not you, I know.
Oh, yeah, don't bleach your hair.
It looked like a broom.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
I like that.
Good stuff.
That would be the worst odds I've lost.
Good. Kind of piggybacking off of Freeman's question from the last about difference between the two sports. Is there anything that you take from soccer and apply it to baseball, or from baseball apply to soccer? Like anything? I mean, I know they're completely different sports, but
no, for sure. Coming in as a baseball player last year, like I had a rough freshman year for soccer, and I came into baseball and I was like, I figured out my role. I ran pretty much, but I also just like being on the bench and like having to keep the intensity up on the bench. Helping the guys on the field who are actually producing. That was something that I was like, I definitely learned a lot through that, and having to figure out my role. So I would say going back to soccer then this year, like, I just having them to like figure out my role, be an example to the freshmen and sophomores, like the underclassmen, and just figure out my role and, be a good guy on the bench, be a supporter. And, that was something I definitely took from baseball and brought over to soccer, just the mentality of like knowing the role.
That's good.
And so your roles are sort of the same on both teams.
Right,
I would say you're getting a lot more minutes this year on soccer than you did 2 years ago.
Right, yeah.
But you're not starting.
Right.
So you have to be just like pinch running. It might be the third, it might be the sixth, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Same here in soccer.
Yeah.
You probably have a general idea when Tommy's going to be like, hey,
right.
Croke, you're right.
Yeah.
But it's still different most games.
Right.
So how do you mentally prepare to stay in it for both sports? You just talked about the difference between, hey, if we're down 2-0 in soccer, that's a lot different than being 2-0 in baseball, especially at our field.
Right.
There's no such thing as deficit on our baseball field.
Yeah,
What's the shout out to the 330 dead
honestly.
center?
Yeah, right. You want to take care of that?
Pass. But how do you stay on there mentally to be able to pinch run or pinch hit or play the field, whatever it is?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely just like staying engaged in the game and like recognizing, if I'm going to sub in for Jeremy or if I'm going to sub in for JJ, like what are they doing? What is the person that's attacking them? What is their go-to? What is their move? What is their strong foot? So definitely just like staying engaged in that aspect and not sitting on the bench and just be like talking about school or talking about things like that, and really just staying engaged in the actual game and just like, like I know where I'm going to go in. Even in baseball, like I know, like I'm just going to pinch run. So, watch the pitchers, watch their moves. So it's just like knowing the situation that you'll find yourself in and like being ready for that. But there's also times when people just get injured and all of a sudden you go in.
Yeah.
Right.
That happened at Grace actually in the freezing cold weather. Jeremy Latshaw, he cramped up. I had to take off like 10 layers of clothes. I think I took off 10 shirts and like 2 pairs of pants. And there I am, freezing cold, running out on the field. Can't feel my bones. But I went out there for a few minutes and then, I got that as Steven came in for me. But, at that moment, was I really ready? Probably not. But I had to just mentally click into it right away and just go. So sometimes you got to
I think that's something too that you're kind of born with, is just being able to be that kind of flexible, ready for whatever. Like, say, slow kid hits a double.
Yeah.
And okay, we need that run. Tommy, you're in the game.
Yeah.
Just like that. Like you got to be. Exactly
and not only that, as a pinch runner, you're supposed to be faster than the person you replace. If there's then a single up the middle and you get thrown out at home, now we're looking around. So whereas in soccer, it's kind of the same thing. Like, hey, this person needs a rest or this person got hurt. I hope you were watching, because if that kid scores, we're gonna be mad that kid got hurt or you got. So I think that's the challenge. It's the same for you, Tyler. When you come in, you're the reliever. That means you're supposed to be better in this situation than the person you replaced.
Right.
So if they
when you're not, then
get a single or but that's a very difficult. That's why when the two of you who are pretty skillful at the needs you fill in for, I think that's the look there. Another question there on, you said you sort of, maybe not mentoring, but helping the underclassmen kind of understand what it is we're doing here. I imagine that looks much different from soccer to baseball, whereas, you're throwing sunflower seeds and, hey, stay awake, or hey, where to soccer, where it is very intense, and we have to, we're always, guys, get back behind the line. Like, you guys are clearly into it on the soccer team, but it's much different. You can feel the intensity coming off the field, whereas baseball, is the sun going to come out today? I'm freezing. Or can the sun go
away?
An
extra jacket somewhere? I'm freezing cold.
It's just the mentality of it all is just so different. So just explain how you may go about motivating an underclassman at soccer towards baseball.
Right. Well, I think with baseball last year, like, I was only a sophomore. I don't know if I garnered like too much respect from underclassmen. Just in that, I was bottom of the barrel coming in. Like, I was probably one of the worst players on the team. Like, I didn't garner that much respect. But learning from soccer now is just like, the kids who are like upset with playing time or upset with, certain things that are happening. You just have to explain, like, you're a freshman, like, you got to just take it now. Everything coach is saying to you, just soak it up, work on it, like, work in your off season and things like that. Like, definitely just pushing them in the direction of, like, don't be upset because you're not playing, but just be, like, motivated for next year and, like, be motivated for, the future, because, you're only a freshman. You have 3 more years to play. Right. So that's what I always just encourage the guys with. And after actually the Abington game, Tim Nice, he came up to me. He was like, Tommy, there's nothing we could do, because we both sat the bench pretty much the whole time. And I was like, I mean, directly, no, like, we couldn't do anything on the field, but we did our job on the sidelines. And, like, I was like, Tim, like, you see what we have to do next year, and, like, we have to get that much better next year, because we'll be back. Like, we have a young team, and that's something that I think is pretty cool to see. Like, we always got to keep with that mentality of, like, we're getting better for next year because we'll be back. So I think that was something I was able to do for soccer, and something I'm looking forward to doing with the freshmen on the baseball team.
And I think the baseball and soccer teams have embodied that freshman minimal playing time, but if you work at it, I'm thinking about Brian Niedergall or a couple other men's soccer seniors who didn't see the field, didn't see playing time, whereas Niedergall was majorly important 2 and 3 years ago to the success of the team. And likewise, I can think of seniors in the past too, defenders who, after you watch for a year or two, you kind of just naturally start picking things up. I know how to make that happen. So it's exciting to hear someone then, like, you talk about that and see that out as an underclassman and be able to tell freshmen, hey, maybe not this year, but now you know what you need to do to work and things like that. So I like to hear that. That's good.
Cool.
So business is your major.
Yes.
What do you like most about that program and LBC as a whole?
The business department. I definitely like all the teachers. All the teachers are super cool. They're super personable. All my boys are business majors, so it's cool. We all have classes together. We all do homework together. So that's definitely cool. And even today I went to this business. I don't even know what it was really called, but I went because there was free Chick-fil-A, I'll be honest. No. But he talked about
that's definitely not a bad reason to go.
Yeah, it's definitely my reason too. But it turned out to be a lot more than that. And he just talked about how business and your biblical morals and like your Christian ethics and stuff, it all ties together. And he's really trying to bridge he talked to Professor Harbin, who's like a theology teacher, and how he's going to bridge that with business. And I think that'll be super cool. And I think that's something that LBC does well, is really tying in biblical standards with whatever major you might be.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And do you have a part of the business in your future? Is there a part that you like more or more not?
I would definitely one day like to do something in sports, and probably sports ministry, and whatever business can tie in with that. I mean, I don't know for sure.
No, I was curious.
But that would definitely be the direction I'm looking to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have one more kind of random question.
Ooh.
I just thought of this last class. I was thinking of the movie Hot Rod. You familiar?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You familiar with the movie Hot Rod?
No.
Oh.
Okay, you should check it out. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, he harnesses these spirit animal powers. And I'm just curious, what would you consider your spirit animal to be?
Oof.
Both in baseball and in soccer, if there's a difference. Or if they're the same, whatever.
My spirit animal. I would definitely be a dog. I'd be like a golden retriever.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of goofy and like they're not super smart, but like they're kind of cool. Like everyone kind of likes a golden retriever. You know, that's what I try to be. Like,
I like it. I like
you know, you're not gonna come up to me and I'm not gonna tell you something you've never heard because I'm not that smart. But like,
Yeah.
you know, you'll enjoy the conversation.
You're also like a great companion too.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I think, right? So I think a golden retriever would be pretty sick.
Yeah,
I like
good stuff.
dogs.
I like that. Yeah.
He can
Fan favorite? You're
I
a
watched
fan-
him fetch a stick too. You
Hey.
can see this guy.
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
You're a fan favorite too. Golden retrievers, fan
All right,
favorites.
all right. I appreciate that.
There you go. You know,
What would your
Agreed.
spirit animal be?
man, I like to think of myself as like a. I'm trying to think of like a.
A dragon.
I'm trying to think of like an animal that has like a calm demeanor, but has also like a beast inside of them. Man,
A pufferfish.
a puffer.
Because they're chilling,
Perfect.
and then all of a sudden they get like
perfect.
super excited and
Yeah.
they puff
So like
up.
when I'm agitated, you'll know it. Kind of like a pufferfish.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I'm a calm demeanor.
right.
I don't know.
Again,
What do you-
everyone likes pufferfishes
yeah, like
because they're super amusing.
and
if
like they're
puff
poisonous
up.
if you eat them. I'm not sure if I'm poisonous if you would eat me, but I
didn't
don't
that
know.
was-
That's the next podcast.
Yeah. How about
Stay
you? Would
tuned.
you? Would you?
I have no idea. I've never thought about that.
I think
before.
I would look at you like, as like the wise old owl.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe.
I can
Thanks.
see an owl.
Or like something
Yeah.
that like
or an eagle.
maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Both can fly. I'm into that.
That's cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pufferfish can swim for a long time.
True. They can hold their breath for
Yeah.
a pretty long time.
Yeah, I think forever.
Yeah.
This is taking a turn. My last one is, so you're from the Bronx.
Yeah.
I knew you're from this near the city. What's it like to come here from there?
Well, all right, so I say I'm from the Bronx, but I'll have to admit to that now. I moved away from the Bronx when I was like 6.
Okay,
So I don't remember like
you
a lot
still,
from
like,
there.
you still-
But, you know, I lived in an apartment building. Like I grew up on the streets. Like I slept on a curb. You know, no big deal. But now, like I'm from a pretty rural area now. I'm like an hour out of the city.
Okay.
It's pretty similar to here. There's just no horse and buggies and
Yeah.
you know any of that. It took me a little while.
Tell them that fun fact about where you live or you used to live. You say it every time we drive past it to go to New York.
Wait, what's the fun fact?
Are you serious? About the OCC?
Oh, Orange
Yeah.
County
Yeah,
Chopper,
man.
right near my house.
Yeah.
Perfect. There you
American
go.
Chopper. Yeah, it's like probably like half an hour from my house.
You say that without a doubt every time we drive past it.
OCC, that's me right there.
Love
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, did Tyler prepare you for our top 5, or you can just give your top
shoot, did I
one?
forget to text you?
Those are the
The
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving
food?
foods? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have 5 different foods at Thanksgiving.
Okay. Well, then you can just give us your top one, then we'll let you go.
Yeah.
I know you have practice.
All right, my top food probably mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving.
Good.
Anything on them, or
Mashed
just
potatoes
straight
and
up?
gravy. You know,
Okay.
a little
Yeah, yeah.
starchy,
Uh-huh.
but that's probably what I go with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even like candied sweet potatoes, and now
Okay.
they go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, he's at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now
I could keep
you're
going
3
if you
away.
want me
Just
to.
list them
Just-
all.
just
man.
go on.
Turkey, that's the top 3.
Turkey doesn't count.
How's
Oh,
that?
I have turkey in mine. So
Okay,
you better.
fine. Turkey counts.
So
add that in.
turkey's number 3.
Turkey
Not
counts.
everyone has turkey on Thanksgiving.
Ooh, some nice bread stuffing.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm a bread
All
stuffing guy.
Same.
And you give me some pumpkin pie to close it out.
Uh-huh.
See, this
Do you
was
need a
good.
little ice cream on the side or just pumpkin pie?
Ice cream, even Cool Whip. I'm a big Cool Whip
yeah.
guy.
Cool whip.
I'd take that probably before.
Cool whip.
Why am I saying what way?
That's great. Great stuff.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Awesome. Thanks
Thank
for
you very
having me.
much.
That was good.
That was good.
And this is great. I appreciate
Cool.
it. And good luck next week.
Yeah, I appreciate
It'd be
it.
awesome. Well, you can just,
Alright.
everyone else
I'm good
seems to
to
just
go.
leave and then
Yeah.
slam the door.
All right.
You can not slam the door. That'd be
Bye to
great.
all
but
my
everyone
fans.
else-
Yeah.
Bye to-
Yeah. Sign off. Tommy Croke signing off. See you, buddy.
Thanks, Tommy. So anyway, that was Tommy Croke, again, men's soccer player, as well as on the baseball team. Again, men's soccer taking on Southwestern Christian on Monday evening, and then Judson on Tuesday evening. We'll have links to those. I'm pretty sure you're going to need to pay to watch those games down at the NCCA national tournament, but definitely a good time. And
That's
be
just
able
what
to see
sets us
that.
apart.
Yeah,
You know?
That we
High
don't-
quality and it's free.
and free.
Yeah. Good stuff.
pretty
Maybe we
good.
should start charging though.
No,
I need
we're
more
trying
money
to get people
for you, man.
more. We're trying to get more
I need
people
more money.
interested. All right, so your top 5. We are kind of already introduced it, so I'm not.
Yeah,
stealing, I
yeah.
feel like I'm not stealing your thunder
Top 5.
here.
No, you're not stealing my thunder. Top 5 Thanksgiving foods for me. The top 3 are definitely in the right order. The last 2 maybe not.
Okay.
Number 5, sweet potatoes /
Nice.
candy sweet potatoes. Same,
Yep.
that whole thing. I
Yep.
love those things. I think we have them every year. I think so, if I'm remembering correctly. I hope we have them this year.
If nothing else, I hope we have.
Shout out to Mom, who's probably listening right now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Shout out to Mom / make sweet potatoes. got it.
Number 4, I'm going to go with apple pie.
Okay, good.
I'm not a huge pumpkin pie fan. I know
Yeah.
I'm a little weird. It's a texture. I don't know. Gets me
I've
a
had to
little
get. I wasn't big on that, but recently,
Yeah, and my family, my mom specifically makes really good apple pie.
perfect.
And then number 3, mashed red skin potatoes. Yeah,
Good.
A little red skin inside
Yeah.
there, so good. I love them. And then you put a
Nice.
little gravy on top. I can eat them by themselves, but the gravy definitely sets it apart. Little. Is there a difference between like the whiter, creamier gravy and like the brown gravy?
I think one's beef and one's like beef gravy and not beef gravy.
Okay, because I like the creamier one a little bit better.
Got
I
it.
think.
The same.
Yeah. Number 2, corn souffle. Are you familiar?
Like a corn casserole.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, I'm quite familiar.
It's like kind of sweet a
you're
little
gonna,
bit.
You're gonna hear about it in about 2 seconds.
That's like you take. That is like one of the best things ever. I don't even care if it's not even Thanksgiving. My grandma makes it for. I think she makes it for Thanksgiving. Hopefully she makes it this year. But she makes it like for pretty much every holiday, and like I just look forward to holidays because of that. And number 1, I actually request this every year from my mom. It's gonna be green bean casserole.
Very good.
So good. You get, a little cream of mushroom, the little the French onion things
That's
on top.
correct. Yes,
Oh my
onion
goodness,
shell, yeah.
it's just like I like green beans by themselves. They're good. They're fine, but you take everything else and add it in there. It's like the
Now,
best bite ever.
Could you eat green bean casserole on Memorial Day?
No,
Okay. I'm just curious.
no. On Memorial Day, I need a summer food. I need like a burger.
I would just be curious because a lot of the foods that I'm going to mention too, like if it's not fall,
It's like a season for food.
I agree.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I don't think I would even like a big roast turkey or a turkey, however you do it on 4th of July or like whatever it is. It has to be Christmas, Thanksgiving.
agree
It's
completely.
that season, kind of like that warm fuzzy,
Yep.
kind of puts you to sleep by 4:30. So yeah, that's my top 5.
Perfect. Yeah, I would say number 5. I would say apple or pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Just again, seasonally based. I could probably eat apple pie year round.
Yeah, that's the one food on there I think I could probably
Pumpkin
do.
pie though, I think it's got to be fall.
Well, like when pumpkins are around,
Thank you.
that would be helpful.
I appreciate it. You can get it in a can. I mean, I'm not into that, but yeah, it's pretty good. I don't need ice cream with pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
I just had some at the cafeteria. It was Thanksgiving dinner day.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay. I don't have a meal plan, so I wouldn't know about that.
Me either. His name's Bob. He pays for mine.
Oh, wow. What a nice guy,
appreciate it.
that
Thanks,
Bob
Bob.
guy. I wish I knew him.
Number 4, stuffing or filling. I agree with Tommy's assessment of the bread filling. It's pretty good. My mother-in-law, her filling or stuffing, it's just the best. You got to sign up for that. It's delicious. I love it. I'll say number 3.
Thanks for bringing some for me to try.
Yeah, I don't. Even if I would have, it wouldn't have made it to the podcast here at 2:30. Sweet potatoes for me, number 3. Again, the candy ones. My wife makes pretty good sweet potatoes there. I have turkey on here.
Okay.
So I just.
fine.
I mean, that's what we're doing here.
I was just trying to
So
go with my list a little untraditional.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Turkey, but specifically, and this is maybe I don't know if we're the same here or not. Dark meat.
Okay, I do both. I don't really
Okay.
care.
I
Dark meat's a little juicier for sure.
Yeah, I just don't really like the light meat.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, see how we do it. I'm not sure if we're doing it this year because we have a huge turkey. My dad usually deep fries it.
I had one of those on Saturday.
They're so good.
It was so good.
It's so good, and the white meat actually gets pretty juicy that way.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I had mostly dark meat, but I did try a little.
But I agree with you. If you're in the oven, it does get a little dry sometimes. Dark meat, I would probably.
That was one of the first times I had a deep fried turkey.
Yeah.
Like I could still be eating that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was 2 days ago.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
probably
it was really
terrible
good.
for you, but
I'm not concerned
I
about
don't.
that.
It's Thanksgiving. Who
Yeah,
cares?
that's correct.
Yeah.
My number 1 is corn casserole. Okay. Again, I don't know how it's prepared over where you are, but just the mixture of a little breading, a little something with the.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's amazing. Is yours like sweeter or is it like a little more corny?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
just amazing.
I just know what it is,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of it. So.
Yeah. See, my grandma, she uses brown sugar on a lot of things.
Good.
Like makes everything kind of a little bit sweet, but it's like good. Like, you wouldn't even think it would go right, but it does. It's amazing.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that was the top 5 Thanksgiving foods. I guess, are there Christmas foods? Would you do this again?
I think they're pretty similar. We do for Christmas. We do in the morning. We do like a breakfast at my grandma's house. And then we come home and eat turkey with my other grandma. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. So, quick upcoming schedule. The men's basketball team is at Wesley tomorrow evening. That's down in Dover, Delaware. Both basketball teams are at Penn State Berks to open NEAC play on the 28th. Again, the aforementioned games for men's soccer on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Southwestern Christian on Monday evening at 5 and Judson on Tuesday at 5. As for the Horse with No Name podcast, we'll be back next week, probably midweek podcast again. We're going to talk basketball. I think guest or guests to be named later. I think I have an idea.
To be named later.
To be named later. Well, I know who it is, but I don't want to give it away just in case they say they can't
tell
do
me
it.
after the show?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool.
And again, you can find us on iTunes and Spotify. We'll upload this here in a little bit after it's done on the Charger Sports Network. We'll upload it to iTunes and Spotify. Again, you can go there and subscribe. And that way it just shows up in your podcast feed whenever we produce a new one. And again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And thank you for your support of LBC Athletics. And I'm looking forward to a nap on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of falling asleep just thinking about this, dude. So
not just me talking. Okay.
That too, but
comforting. Thank you.
Especially the football games that's gonna be on Cowboys versus Redskins.
I know.
Both
Sorry.
teams terrible.
The NFC East is terrible, but that's
we both can't stand those teams.
I cannot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that's something we can agree on. Finally.
Giants Eagles on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a bad game too.
You might get called to play safety or cornerback for the Eagles.
I was thinking the other day I might get a DM here soon.
Would you waste the last 2 years of your the last year of your baseball eligibility to go play cornerback professionally for the Eagles?
I
I don't know if it's good or bad.
Am I getting a big contract?
I think it's a 10-dayer.
Is
or
it like
1-dayer?
10-day, $10 million contract?
I don't think it's $10 million.
Then no.
And you're going to probably tear your ACL like the rest of them.
I was going to say everyone on that team that plays cornerback gets hurt, and then I'm done. I'm screwed. So.
Very good. Well, again, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thanks for your support here on the Horse with No Name podcast. For Tyler Greenley, I am Zach Freeman. Go Chargers, go.